Today's revision, we're gonna cover the contents for your final exam, which is gonna be tomorrow, grade 7. Okay. First off, we're gonna start with explaining square numbers. Squared numbers. Okay. What is a square number? It's a number when you multiply it. It's a number that has two factors, which are the same number. For example, 9 is a squared number because it has two factors. 3 times 3, which is, well, that's why we call it a squared number. Okay. 25, also a squared number because it has 5 times 5. 36 as well, because 6 times 6. Right? And 144 because we have 12 times 12. All of these in front of you are squared numbers. So what happens if I square root the 9, for instance, this 9? What happens if I square root it? When I square root the 9, the answer will be 3. This one. When I square root the 25, the answer will be 5. When I square root the 36, the answer is gonna be 6. When I square root 144, the answer is gonna be 12. The idea here is very clear and it's amazing. That's for squared numbers. Okay. So you should understand the meaning of a squared number, and you should know how to explain why these are squared numbers. Why? You should know why, right? Because they have two factors which are the same number. Now, let's go to a very important topic, which are the factors, multiples, and the difference between the factors and multiples. What is a factor? A part of the product. So let's say we have here 25. Tell me what are the factors 25. You should think of two numbers. When you multiply them, equal to 25. We have lots of them, right? We have 25 times 1. That gives me actually 25. We have also 5 times 5. That gives me 25. All of these are factors for 25. What about the factors of 6? We have 6 times 1, and we have 3 times 2. What about the factors of 9? We have 9 times 1, and we have 3 times 3. All of these are factors. These are the factors, huh? But mister, what do we call these? Since these are the factors, what do we call these? These, we call them multiples. These are the multiples. So when the question asks you, write the factors of 64, or write the factor of 24. You're going to start first 24 times 1. You're going to also say 12 times 2. You're going to also say 3 times 8. Also, you're going to say 6 times 4. These are all the factors of 24. You should know them. Okay. And also, sometimes I ask you to, when I give you, for example, 8 and 12, and I tell you what are the factors of 8. We have 1 times 8. We have 2 times 4. And what are the factors of 12? We have 12 times 1 and 6 times 2 and 3 times 4. All of these are the factors of 12. Now I'm going to ask you the question, write the common factors. We have 1 here and 1 there. That's a common factor. We don't have 8 there, so it's not common. We do have 2. That's a common factor right there. We do have 4 as well. So 1, 2, 4 are the common factors between 8 and 12. You should understand that. It's very important. Okay. Also, going back to the example, Sometimes I may ask you what's the highest common factor. Not just the common factors. Okay, we wrote the common factors, but what's the highest common factor? The higher number, which is gonna be 4 in this case. So you're gonna write in the exam, HCF equals 4. And I may ask you to describe the meaning of a factor and what's the meaning of the highest common factor as words, writing, explaining the meaning, so I can understand that you actually know what you are doing. Okay. Sometimes I may give you a set of data, okay, and I will ask you to find the averages and the range of these set of data. Okay, and it's gonna be very easy. I'm not gonna go through this because we already took this in the midterms, and it's very easy. Okay, let's go through them so we can understand. We have mean, we have median, we have mode, and we have range. To find the mean, it's basically you add all the values, add all values, and divide them by the number of the values. For example, if I have 3, 4, 5, these are 3 values. I'm gonna add them all together, 3, 4, 7, 7, 5, 12, and I'm gonna divide them by 3, and so the answer is 4. That's the meaning of this one here. So it's gonna be 3 plus 4 plus 5 over 3. Why 3, mister? Because we have 3 numbers, and obviously in the exam, we're gonna have more than 3 numbers. That's the meaning of an average. Median, it's the middle value. It's the middle value. For example, if I have a set of data here in front of us, if we have 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10. In this case, we don't have to order anything. In this case, we're just gonna cross outside numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there you go. Here we don't cross, right? So let's round again. 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, let's say 10. Now we cross. And as you can see, we have 2 numbers in the middle. So we cannot have 2 numbers in the middle. We only should only have 1. So we take out the mean of these 2. So 5 plus 7 over 2, which is gonna be 12 over 2, which is 6. That's the answer. Okay. What if it was 3, 4, 5, 6, let's write here 12, and here, let's write now we need to order it from smallest to largest. 2, then 3, then we're gonna have 4, then we're gonna have 5, and finally we're gonna have 12. Now, afterwards, I need to count the numbers if I'm right or wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm right. Next, I'm gonna cross the outside numbers. Cross, 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 cross. I have the middle value is 4 without needing to add anything or divide by anything. So the answer, the median, in this case is 4. Range is by taking the maximum minus the minimum, the highest number minus the lowest number. In this case, what's the ratio for these set of data? We have 12, that's the maximum number, and we have 2, that's the minimum number. We have 12 minus 2 is 10, so the range is 10. As simple as that. These are the averages. You may have a fraction, and I ask you to write it as a mixed number. So 27 over, let's say, over 5. I'm gonna ask you to write it as a mixed number. In this case, we have 2 methods, either mentally or using long division. Let's use long division. So 27 over 5 means 27 divided by 5. If we do the long division, the 5 would be here, of course, and 27 is gonna be here. And you think of a number, we multiply, gives you 27. We don't have, but we have a near number, which is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Subtract, we will have a remainder of 2. 5 is my whole number. The 2 is my numerator. and this 5 is my denominator. This is my answer. This is what you're gonna do in the exam. Long division. Then you get the value up there, that's your whole number. And then the remainder is the numerator. And the divisor is the denominator. Okay. What if we have this kind of shape? And I tell you to shade the 2/3 of this shape. What does it mean? Mister, all of it, I'm gonna give it number 1. All of this shape is 1. Part of it is 1/3. Because all of these are 3, right? So 1 over the whole. 1 is the part and whole. So 1/3, 1/3. If we add them all together, it's gonna be 3 divided by 3, which is 1. This one. So if the question asks to shade some kind of shape, the 2/3 of the shape, you're gonna do this. 2/3. That's it. Okay, what if it was more than 3 and still you need to shade 2/3 when you have, for example, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shade 2/3 of these. What are you gonna do in this case? Since the part here, the whole is not 3, it's 6. You're not gonna make the 3 6, right?
Yes.
Multiply by 2 and multiply this by 2. So we're gonna have 4/6. So I'm gonna shade 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And obviously it's gonna be the rest of it. Multiplying fractions. Let's say we have 3/4 times 2/5. Mister, they're not the same denominators. What do I do? No, just multiply. 3 times 2 is 6, and 4 times 5 is 20. If you can, and only if you can, simplify, you simplify. Both are divisible by 2 because they're even. This is gonna be 3, and this is gonna be 10. Okay, and now that's my answer in simplest form. That's multiplication. In adding, when we have 3/4 plus, let's say 5/7. In this case, I'm gonna have to make the denominators the same. This has to be in addition or subtraction only. And you multiply this by 7, and that by 4, and here by 4, and here by 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 4 times 7 is 28, and 7 times 4 is 28, and 4 times 5 is 20, and all you gotta do is now add. It's gonna be 41/28. Mister, if the question asked me to simplify, simplify. If it cannot simplifiable, don't simplify it. But it's better to show it as a mixed number using long division like discussed earlier. What if we have 0.85 plus 7 or 5/10? What do we do in this case? How do we add it? We cannot add until we need to change one of them to the other. And 0.85, you know it as 85/100 because we have 1, 2, so 2 zeros. We discussed that before. And 5/10, we cannot add because they are different denominators. Therefore, I'm gonna multiply the 10 by 10, so it can be 100, and this by 10. I don't need to multiply this by anything. Since I can turn this into this, why should I multiply the other side? And make it even longer and worse. In this case, I'm gonna have 85/100 as it is, plus 50/100. Now I can add. In this case, it's gonna be 135/100. That's my answer, which is going to be 0.135 if the question asks you to change it to a decimal number. Deal. What if I asked you to write these decimals in order? Order or delivery? 0.6 and I ask you to order these. Order them from smallest to largest. First, equal them. You have to have the same numbers of place values. So put them above each other. We have 0.6, we have 0.65, we have 0.605, we have 0.62, we have 0.207. And the missing parts, add them zeros in front of them. Now you can order. Now, this case from smallest to largest, this is the smallest, right? So 0.207. Which one is larger, 605 or 620? 605, so 0.605. And then what do we have? Oh, sorry, we have also 600, we forgot about it, 600. And then we have 605, 0.605. And then, after we did this, and we did that, and we did that, we still have 2, which is gonna be 0.620 and 0.65. And there you go, this is how you order them, from smallest to largest. When I ask you to give you a certain decimal, and they tell you to change it into a percentage, anything you want to make it to a percent, you multiply by 100. So you multiply this by 100. And you're gonna have 2 jumps, so the answer is 70, and don't forget about the percent sign. As simple as that. Or maybe they ask you to write this, for instance, as a fraction. All you gotta do is to count the numbers after the decimal point. You have 2, and take the number 5/100. And if you go actually to the left, it's gonna be the same thing. Now, in this case, we can simplify by dividing both sides by 5. So it's gonna be 1/20. What do you think about the fact that all the sum of 2 prime numbers is all of? But what's the meaning of a prime number? A prime number is a number that has only 2 factors, only, the number itself and 1. For instance, 2. 2 is a prime number. Why? Because the factors of 2 are only 2 times 1. The number itself and 1. That's why we call it a prime number. Also 3. 3 times 1. Also 7. 7 times 1. All of these are prime numbers. What do you think of the fact that the sum of the 2 prime numbers is always even? You're gonna practice the sum of the 2 prime numbers is always even. So let's check the 2 prime numbers, So 3 plus 7, for example, 2 prime numbers. Add them. 10, even. What about 2 plus 7 in this case? 9. So 9 is not even, so it's not always even, right? So it's not always even. And you need to show why by using examples. You have to do that. You need to understand the meaning of an even number and the cube number. Even number is a number multiplied by 2. The product of a number multiplied by 2, that's called even number. So, 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, and so on. That's an even number. Cube number, what's the meaning of a cube number, guys? Cube number, it means you have a squared and we have cube, right? Cube number, what's the meaning of cube number? It means multiply the same number by itself 3 times. For example, when we have the case 8, 8 is the product of 2 times 2 times 2. So 8 is a cube number. 27 is the product of 3 times 3 times 3. 27. And the cube root of 27, like before, 3. And the cube root of 8 is 2. And that's it. Right, this is a percentage, guys. What do? Multiply by 100. The 0 will be removed from both sides. So I'm going to have 50, because 5 times 10 is 50, over 4. Okay, since they're both even, they're going to be 25 over what? Over 2. Okay? And that would be it. When we have a temperature, and I tell you to find the difference between the temperature in July, for example, it was 13, and in November, let's say 15, and in November it was like minus 10. Find the difference. In this case, we're gonna find the difference by 15 minus, and already we have minus there, minus 10. Minus, when it's beside another minus, is gonna be addition. So 15 plus 10 in this case is gonna be 25. That's the difference. That's the first one, the first method you can use. So here's 25. And if it was negative, for example, if it was minus 15 here, and there it's minus 10, and minus 15, minus 10, or let's say here it was 10, okay? Not minus 10. So it's gonna be, the difference means minus, so that's why I wrote minus there. Here I'm gonna add as well, but this time I'm gonna put the negative sign. Okay, because the negative signs weren't together. That's why I have to put the negative sign. But I add, still I add. It's still the same. Because the temperature, not the temperature, the difference of a temperature is always positive. Put that in mind. You can use the other method by putting them on a number line and you jump from 15 to minus 10. Or the opposite way. That would be it. Good luck.